then you gotta be thankful that he's finding you money and time.
And even then, after that, you get pissed. You be angry like, man, get this devil with man. You can't do shit.
That's what, so I'll make a quick point before you read that. That's what we were referring to earlier with the critical thinking. That's what's so important about this critical thinking, because you don't have to worry about this shit no more. Because the answers, everything you need, you don't have to be like, well, I hope Kamala does this and fulfills what she says. You don't have to worry about no shit like that. You know the Lord tell you, this is what I'm gonna do, and it's for you I'm doing this. I chose this to happen. They did me dirty, they did my son dirty, and they doing y'all dirty. But I want y'all to understand that, then I want you to go and I'm gonna solve all this shit. So now you don't have to think about it. So you don't have, and the whole point of it, the critical thinking will end up leading you back to understanding that there's an end to this shit, man. Of this terrible ass life. So you don't have to bug out and wig out and be all mad and frustrated, speeding down the road and road rage and drugs, and you don't have to do those things because you're comforted by the answers of the scriptures to the problems that's happening in the earth. Y'all got it.
Yes, half drunk.
Ezekiel 25, I started at verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it.
Okay.
And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel.
Yep.
And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger, and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh. And that's how you know we gotta be changed too, man, because the Most High can't put his anger in us, because this flesh should be consumed, man.
Yeah.
So the Lord gotta put us in flesh that's gonna be able to perfectly execute what he wants us to do, man.
Hey, Jake had that portion of the Spirit going in the book of Exodus. The Lord told us to take over the other nations in the land of Canaan. We had to kill everything, man. Yeah. Little babies, all that, man.
Right. Wipe them out.
Hey, we can't do that shit now, man. We ain't gonna have a mind for that.
That's what I was saying. The way this world, especially the Western world, has made us like zoo animals and shit. Like we don't even have that killer mind state.
Yeah.
Killer instinct.
We're domesticated.
Yeah.
You know, we're not our natural form. We don't have that type of. Even as bad as it is, you look at our people, as bad as homeless Jake and whoever have it, they don't really have that survival mentality of I gotta take from the next person to get what I need. They don't have that. That's gonna open that whole mentality up. Right.
A lot has happened that led to this condition of Jake being so docile and subservient. The strong man got bounded up. And the house got spoiled. The curse, thou shalt be no might in thy hand. Judah is an old crouching lion.
Who shall rouse him up?
Crouching down as that old lion, who shall rouse him up?
It's like the movie Madagascar.
Exactly. That's what made me think about it.
Jake been demoralized through society, man. Constant lynchings, constant public examples being made out of Jake. To keep the rest of the slaves in line.
Public humiliation.
Public humiliation. You know, them taking your most strongest and humiliating them. Breaking them down.
They're still doing it today.
Using Eve.
They were sitting down with Bill Cosby.
Using Eve to break you down.
Yep. Giving her all these liberal rights. They didn't even put it on the books, but when the cops will show up to your house and you try to check your woman because she was out of bounds doing some shit, you know, and now she want to raise up authority with the new man spirit on her or whatever could possibly be going on, that you can't run your house. He come and he check you. He belittles you. He takes your manhood from you.
It used to be a point if the police got called for a domestic dispute, somebody got to go to jail.
Yeah.
And more than likely it was
usually you.
It was the male.
But this is my house. Yeah. Look, I'm the one with scratches and bruises all over me.
They don't care.
Well, you're the one that we gotta make sure we can't take her from the kids. Like what?
It's all a part of that system. To break you Jakes down, man. Really, it breaks you Jakes down, but it breaks down the family structure as a whole. Because when you out of the house, whether it's a restraining order or whatever, your kids is just left to do whatever, and the woman, there's no balance in the household. So then that brings forth a generation of emotional, impulsive Jakes.
Full of testosterone.
Right. And look what we have. Look where we at today. A bunch of crazy ass wild niggas out there running around wild, doing what they want, being emotional. You know. This is Esau. You know what the hell? But Esau to help destroy our nation.
Yeah, look at this.
They channel their testosterone through their feminine output.
That's what I was gonna say.
It's channel femininity through testosterone. And that's not a good combination.
I was gonna say, look how they do it. Look at the things that they do to push that out. Drugs, first off, we say like, we gotta have the drugs, right? But then you gotta, it's all sex and killing, and emotional, losing your emotions. So they always want to just have a whole lot of sex and a whole lot of killing. That's in the music.
This is how he neutralized you and took away that warrior element, that manly, masculine element from you.
Critical thinking.
Yeah. If I want my enemy, if I want my enemy to be an easy target for me, so I can have the advantage, I would do exactly what Esau did. You want to weaken your enemy, so that he doesn't have enough fight in him to be able to fight toe to toe with you.
Like you find their weaknesses and you expose them. You know that's what Esau exploited. Exploited.
Oh, so I don't know if you brothers watch the UFC.
Hey, Salakia. What's that in Sirach 30 or 31? Where it talks about teach.
Oh yeah, yep.
He that teacheth thy son.
Grieve with the enemy.
It's like Sirach 30 and 30 and 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he have left one behind for he have left one behind him that is like himself.
There it is.
So he left an avenger or something like that.
Yeah. They requite kindness to his friends.
While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him, and when he died, he was not sorrowful. He left behind him an avenger against his enemies, and one that shall requite kindness to his friends. Hey, that was a part of our culture, because I remember, I forgot where I was reading. It might have been in Chronicles where King David was giving Solomon specific instructions. Like, hey, okay, he's cool. Get this nigga. Let him slide. He was giving them specific instructions on how what to execute, because I guess the Most High told him he couldn't touch certain individuals while he was living, but he said, hey, no, my son can. Right? So, yeah, I think so, yeah. It was in Chronicles, right? 2nd Chronicles, yeah.
So what I was gonna tie in with that whole thing.
First Kings is the 2nd chapter.
Read that.
Somebody can go to it. Matter of fact,
while he's reading that, I'll just make a quick point about the UFC.
First Kings 2.
The whole point about it was that strategy. If y'all watched Sean O'Malley fight, who was the other guy he fought?
Marab,
right?
Yeah.
This guy had a strategy just to stay pressuring him the whole time where he could get none of his shit off. That's how E stays on Jake. He stayed with his strategies and schemes on Jake, where he keep you stressed, he keep you anxious to where you can't ever.
You can't counter.
You can't counter. You can't get none of your shit off. He just keeps you always distracted and occupied in other shit, to where he just constantly building up points and working to you was worn out.
That's his game plan.
Keep you weak too, because you always moving, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how they overwork us.
Yep. Yep.
1 Kings 2 from the top. It says, now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
Man. Right before he I'm about to give up. I'm going to go back to the spiritual world. But I need to let you know you need to be strong while I'm gone. All right, basically man up, be a man. You know, you got this. It was pretty much, you know, instructing him and encouraging him.
Yep.
You know, and that's what Jake is missing in their household, you know, from their fathers, because their fathers are absent.
Go.
You know, hey, and rest in peace to James Earl Jones. He was in a powerful film called Claudine. You know, and that was the agenda in that movie was about how Eve had to choose the government over her man. You know what I mean? I want to say that movie might be on YouTube. I'm not too sure.
It sound like YouTube.
That's a good ass movie.
I remember when I was a child, my aunts, you know, growing up, they would have a social worker type person come to the house to make sure that there was no men living in the house. So they would have to hide the clothes, pictures.
We better not see a size
10.
11 shoe, man shoe in the closet.
They would have to hide all the belongings.
My sister blamed said it was my shoes. One time.
If there was men in the house, they would take away all the benefits. That's crazy, bro.
She's like, so he's living here? Like, no, he's just visiting while I'm trying to work. Or, you know, while I'm trying to find a job, I'm out job hunting. So, you know, while I'm babysitting. She tried to get away. This is how deep it gets, but they knew that was a very important strategic scheme.
They knew Esau knew what the basic necessities for a woman that needed. Food and shelter. The things that the husband, the man in her life, was supposed to provide, the father. But what they provided, so in their mind, or the woman's mind, what they say, what the fuck you need a man for? They push that agenda, I don't need a man, I can get a job, I can be independent and all that, so-called independent and all that shit. But Esau knows what it is. They give him EBT. They give him $1,000 or whatever. It's nothing. Section 8. You know? And it's so, it makes them so comfortable. Why would they want to get up? Why would you want to leave for paying $20 rent? You know, where you get assistance for this bill, assistance for this bill. It makes you so comfortable. They got generations of EBT in Section 8 niggas, man. Third generation. I know Jake that
couldn't resist it.
Yeah.
She couldn't resist it. And so a whole generation didn't have fathers.
Right.
So that left male children amongst us to have to grow up inheriting the feminine ways of his mother. Which is why Jake is just so, you know, emotional, you know, illogical.
It's that curse of the mother root our foundation.
Yeah, but the blessing of the father established households. Yeah.
But the curse of the mother root without foundations. So you see why it's important to have fathers. Now going back to what the brother's reading, you see David was right there even to the death. And then right before he's about to die, he's still instilling the instructions to Solomon. Right?
Yep.
That grieves the enemy. Because if you'd have never received those instructions, then what?
Yeah, it is. I'll read it.
Okay.
You know?
Verse 3, 1 Kings 2 and 3. And keep the charge of Yahweh thy power to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself. King Solomon was, King David was having King Solomon, you know, get his mind ready to carry on his legacy, man. And his legacy, he made it known that his legacy began with, you know, the ways of Yahweh by Shemel Shah. Verse 4, that the Lord Yahweh may continue his word which he spake concerning me, saying, if thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth, with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail thee, said he, a man on the throne of Israel. Moreover, thou knowest also what Joab, the son of Zeruiah, did to me, and what he did to 2 captains of the host of Israel.
So he's basically instilling it to a son. These men that are still living, the men that I'm finna talk to you about, these men crossed me.
Yeah.
They disobeyed my commands. Yeah. So this is what I'm gonna need you to do. This is what because you need to know these things.
Yeah.
Right?
To prevent them to happen to him.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It says, unto Abner the son of Ner, and unto Amasa the son of Jether, whom he slew, and shed the blood of war in peace, and put the blood of war upon his girdle that was about his loins, and in his shoes that were on his feet. Do therefore according to thy wisdom, and let not his whore head go down to the grave in peace. But
don't show none of these men any respect. You know, they lost that honor. Don't show them no respect.
Don't let them slide.
Don't let none of these men slide, man. So he's teaching vengeance. Know who your enemy is. Go ahead.
And that's the spirit. He said, do according to your wisdom, but just make sure you handle that.
Exactly.
He said, but show kindness unto the sons of Barzillai and the Gileadite, and let them be of those that eat at thy table. For so they came to me when I fled because of Absalom, thy brother.
Yeah, they looked out for me.
Yeah.
When I was on the run, they looked out.
That's the root.
So when y'all have a feast, make sure they got a table they got a seat at the table, man.
Yeah. That's requiting that kindness that the scripture just spoke about.
That's honor.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit. Your son trying to kill you?
Bro.
It's and to show resistance, you know, like man, like, you know, I can really jack you up, but you know, my son and King David, you know.
It says, and behold,
Because you know when that happened, he observed who was going to stand with him and who was going to side with his son.
Yeah.
That drew out all the true colors of who was who under his cabinet, so to speak. You know, all these motherfuckers, they was trying to rise up to overthrow me for the sake of my son. Yeah, I remember these motherfuckers. Yeah, I remember them. These are all my enemies. Right?
and behold, thou hast with thee Shimei the son of Gera, a Benjamite of Bahurim, which cursed me with the grievous curse in the day when I went to Mahanaim. But he came down to meet me at Jordan, and I swear to him by the Lord Yahweh, saying, I will not put thee to death with the sword. Now therefore hold him not guiltless, for thou art a wise man, and knowest what thou oughtest to do unto him. But his hoar head bring thou down to the grave with blood.
Yeah, he called him a bloody man.
Yeah.
Shimei, he cursed him and called him a bloody man. You know? So, yeah. Yeah, man.
Hey, can I ask y'all something? How did the priest know that David was about to die? What test did they do?
God.
They put a woman by him to see if he can get warm.
Yeah.
The heat.
Right.
Yeah.
Her name was Abishai. The Shumanite, which goes back to the tribe of Issachar.
Yeah.
A lot of young little Issacharite chick.
God.
Little joints that was probably over there, moving her hips and shit.
First Kings test.
They searched for this bitch. She the
They
baddest
searched
in the
her out.
land.
Yeah.
They searched her out.
She the baddest in the land.
Yeah.
She was probably 14, 15. She was young.
Yeah.
Because it said to seek out for the king a young virgin. So she was probably like a young, like a teenager. You know what I mean? And the fact that he couldn't get it up, they said there was no more heat in him.
No more heat,
That's how they
bro.
know it was like, yeah, he's about to go.
Come around the corner, bro.
He coming down. Listen.
I told you.
We just reading the scripture.
Told you these guys, GMS cars was
That's what they're into.
That's what they're into, brothers.
All these scriptures about progress, and they want to read about that.
It is the videos of Jake. I don't know if brother seen it, but like their granddad will be in like the hospital and they'll bring like a stripper over, and then the granddad like he'll get his energy back, you know? Yeah. That's what he need, man.
The beauty of a woman, cheer of the countenance, man.
All right.
Yeah, man. So going back, so this is an example of that. Going back to what the brother read in Sirach about teaching your son, because hey, that'll grieve the enemy. Because it'll be like one that's he's one like unto yourself, and an avenger to all your adversaries.
Yep.
Over the course of these generations, that got erased with Jacob dealing with Esau.
And even in these
Jacob, he getting programmed in the Christian church. Everybody is your neighbor.
Yep.
You're a Gentile. Love everybody. You know, turn the other cheek.
I was gonna say, in these days, to teach that, you got to use wisdom. Because we can tell our children, but they have to be at a certain level of understanding to know when to use wisdom, and where they can see these people, these heathens, these Edomites for who they are, but at the same time keeping it under control. Right. That's what we always say. You got, when you tell your kids, you can teach your kids things about the truth, but when you'll know when they get to a certain age where they can understand these things fully, and they'll be able to walk through life differently and see things spiritually, versus if you got a young child and he's wild, the truth might not even be formed. Because he may go, you can't have him going up to the school calling the teacher Edomite, kids Edomites. Like, nah, that's not using wisdom. But each situation is different. As far as you bringing your children up, you have children in this faith, in this truth, showing them these certain things, and a lot of times it's just going to take for them to go through their own experiences to see, like,
See little Ricky over there? See how he always want to do some bad shit? Stay away from Ricky. You can't trust Ricky.
Or you see how those white people treated you in there? They treated you like that because of this, and this. I'll just explain to you in the scriptures.
Once they understand.
Right, once they understand. Right.
But like I was saying, just since the brother went into it real quick.
Oh yeah.
I should be able to answer my children to any question that they're asking in their own level of understanding.
Right.
So you keep a lot of things. You keep short, and you keep to the point that they can understand. Ricky's just not a nice guy. Instead of saying he's an Edomite,
Right.
he's a son of the devil or whatever, instead of doing that. Right. Then when he gets to a start saying, is it just all of them like that? No.
Remember Ricky that I showed you about?
I told you. Exactly. See how he's on the news? Up this, whatever.
Like Furious Styles. Watch how your friend crush turn out.
Yep, exactly. He didn't explain it. He didn't even tell him to stop being his friend.
Yes, watch how they turn out.
He was going to guide his son differently. So it is important like that. And one thing that's good about that movie, that goes right to these scriptures, is you can't let your kids be doing everything that everybody else is doing. Brother said he saw a PBS cartoon, Arthur, whatever the fuck, he found fucking demonic images. And stuff was watching.
Or this brother just sent a Instagram video of how they show certain different sex ed curriculum, school, public school, where they showing
fifth graders how to masturbate.
Yeah.
Not telling them what it is, no, teaching them how to do it.
How to.
So how many times?
It feels good when you touch it. Like, what are you doing?
that's crazy.
10-year-old that for? Why you put that in their mind?
Bro.
You should be still talking about cooties and shit at the worst. Let alone running around thinking about,
getting it in.
Even though let's not be crazy though.
That's what I say, yeah.
You know how it's going. It's
Okay.
true. These little kids got cell phones and they know how to go to these sites.
They got too much access.
Yeah.
Right.
You're never supposed to give a kid all that access to anything.
We were just talking about that last night about the access you have on a cell phone.
It's not supposed to be that.
Yeah, that's being left willful, as the scriptures talk about.
Yeah, the scriptures say idleness teaches much wickedness.
Yep.
You know, you got to keep them busy. You got to give them tasks and instruction, man.
Keep them busy with shit.
Yeah.
Keep them busy with using their minds and their hands. You know, that's how you really do it.
See, instead of you teaching your children, he has it where he's now teaching your children. So him being a natural enemy, it ain't gonna grieve him to be able to himself teach his enemy's children how to be. Yeah, I'm gonna teach you to be the biggest mole. You know, be in touch with your feminine side, be a freak, sexual deviant. Look at your female counterpart as equal or greater than you. That's what they're programming your children's minds with. You know?
And then some of the men that grew up in that teach their kids, you're never supposed to hit a girl. It sounds wrong, you shouldn't. But she should know never to push you to have
They don't
to
ever
hit her.
teach the other part.
Yeah, they don't teach the girl.
They don't teach her.
She can just do whatever the fuck she wants.
Don't ever get in a man's face for nothing.
Don't disagree with them.
Yeah.
If you don't agree, leave.
Right. It's never in your place to, a woman's place to be in a man's face,
Arguing,
and acting aggressive. Like, nah, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot of these days.
Yeah.
If a woman gets in the middle, two men fighting, you gotta, and she grabs the other man's nuts, you gotta chop her hand off.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
She ain't supposed to be involved in
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
I found it. Deuteronomy 25 and 11. If two Israelite men get into a fight,
Hey, watch your car.
Yeah, these bitches can't drive, man.
Yeah, look at that. Back up camera and everything.
That's why I'm like,
if two Israelite men get into a fight and the wife of one tries to rescue her husband by grabbing the testicles of the other man, you must cut off her hand. Show her no pity.
kind.
There'd be a lot of bitches walking with one hand only out here.
That's misogyny though, right?
Yeah,
According to this word. Now, she had no business getting involved between two men fighting.
Yeah.
That's not her place.
That ain't where you go. Push the man over, help your husband get it. At worst case scenario. Not even say that they should be involved in that.
Exactly.
Because it's probably a judgment that your husband about to get his ass beat or something.
A lot of times, she's the cause of it.
Yeah.
Usually. Usually.
That's how much deeper you get, right?
Hey, 9 times out of 10, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
You're usually a crash dummy for her.
Yep.
And I saw a video where this Jake, he beat up these two older men, and it looked like in a casino.
Yeah.
It's probably
Yeah,
out here
yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah, that's what's up.
It was out here.
He put both of them on their back.
Yeah. Bloody.
And they both was leaking.
Okay.
And then after you seen what he did to both of those men who came to your defense,
Bro.
both bigger and stronger than you think it's all right to go run and try to do something to him. He
Yeah,
tried
like-
to run up on him. He just pushed her, and she, stumbled and fell over. She didn't want no smoke.
But
She should have got her ass knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the reason that the whole shit started in the first place. Because she in there in this man's face talking shit.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the men jump in on her behalf. So he took out his frustration at her on them.
Yeah. They took the ass whooping from her.
Yeah.
Which that's usually what happens. You know what? Go get your dude, or go get your daddy, or go get your brother. That's usually how it goes, because men don't really want to, put hands on a female. You know?
And that's what Marshawn Lynch had a football camp. I guess he had not got into it, but a parent came up to him.
Yeah, kind.
It was a female, and he told her, "Go get your husband." You know, that's how it's supposed to go. Like when women come up here, like, do you have a husband? Okay, you have a husband. Well, go get your husband. So we can teach him, so he can teach you. Or even if it's a conversation, go get your husband because you ain't really supposed to have no dealings with no other man's woman. You know?
Which goes back to what we was originally saying about critical thinking.
Yeah.
Women aren't set up to do critical thinking. It's the men that's supposed to be rational and be able to use reason and logic and be able to critically think. Like women don't see signs like that to think I'm a woman, I can still win.
Danger.
They don't see it.
Well, they feel empowered here.
Yeah, because they think men are just naturally gonna cower down because there's all types of other. Remember we was on the strip and we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. We was on the strip and that one DYKE chick or whatever was talking all of that when we was like, hey, don't come over here acting all tough. She like, hey, y'all see that? They threatening me. Trying to tell some other men.
Yeah.
I'm a girl, now you a girl. You know, so
She tried to kick our sign over.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a woman. So they'll use all these different tactics to try to keep that power over you. When they realize they don't have the power over you, then they'll try to revert back and get others and tangled into it.
Like you got a lot of them studs. They try to, you'll be with your woman, and they'll try to approach your woman, or try some slick shit, but then you grab on them or you step to them like a man. Like, I'm a woman, I'm a whole female, and all that. Like, nah, you doing manly shit, so you might get that business you like.
But it goes back to the point of us talking about fathers and sons, which I got this in this letter. It was part of because the father and the elders are supposed to teach the younger men. Why? Because they have the experience of these things.
Mm-hmm. That was part of our heritage, where the elderly would teach the youth. They would say, hey, these are they would like tell them about our history, our laws, and we lost damn near all of that. Of course, through slavery and what the brother's about to read.
Yep. And there's so many situations, just thinking about it with your sons, that you can share your experience with them on certain situations. Like the whole cops pulling you over. Hey, that's why I don't know if y'all seen that movie. Let them get some room. Seen that movie? What's that? American Skin. If y'all have seen American Skin, it's a great movie for creating narratives to talk to your kids with too. But in that movie, what they have happened? They had the dad trying to explain it to the son. The son was all in power with Babylon and his mother's thoughts and shit. And I can film, Dad. I should put the gun down. He don't have a gun. This is my phone. He wouldn't listen and all of that, and he ended up getting shot. So when you start, this is what'll happen if you don't get their mind under your vibration early. But this Willie Lynch set this up to be able to take that from our nation. So he put the old against, I'm gonna read it, but he put the old against the young. So now the wisdom and the information, the knowledge never gets past that. Y'all want to hear some scriptures first?
Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. Thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Exactly.
I gotta count. This is after the kingdom was split, after Solomon, So this is 1 Kings 12, and I'm gonna start here at 6. It says, and King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon, his father, while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people? Right, because when you go up, basically it was after the kingdom was rent and given unto Rehoboam before Jeroboam, right? Both of them. It speaks about how he called the congregation together, and the counsel was that Solomon. It says something about Solomon basically making the yoke of the previous generations harder. So this was basically an account that he had to solve, right? 6, it says, and King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, how do you advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and stood before him. Right? So he didn't seek the counsel or the advice of the elder men who had the experience, who had the knowledge from their elders, who also was in counsel with his father.
They
right?
learned it when they were younger men.
Exactly.
And now they have the experience of it when they're older. And it, because look, when does ever a young nigga ever really knew some shit? When did he learn it? Like that's the thing. This internet got young men gassed up like they know things that they just don't know. But yeah, it's cool to know that this happened and that happened, but if you ain't ever lived it, you don't have the experience of how it actually plays out in reality. But that's what your elders are there for. That's why in when we do the Passover ceremony, the elders pretty much the high priest runs it, but then the elder men run it, and then they pass it down. One of the younger men begin to run it.
And the younger men's job is to serve throughout that Passover ceremony. Pour the yayan, give the blessing of the Torah, the blessing of the
so they're
wine.
learning the ritual,
Exactly.
you know, the rituals, I guess, for lack of a better term, of how the service is supposed to be ran. It keeps them engaged to where now they're learning it the whole time.
Yeah, because he's going to eventually become that elder man.
Life always works that way, right?
Con. Yeah, it's a couple more precepts.
It's like it's just like you're not gonna go and take advice from a fucking entry level duty serviceman. You know, he just got enlisted, but you're gonna go to him for advice on the battlefield. The decisions to make in a time of war. When you got your war veterans who served in the military for many years, and it became lieutenants and captains, generals, colonels, but you're gonna go to a entry level,
someone that got there before you.
Yeah, you're gonna go to him for advice. That would be idiotic.
It's funny, I saw this song. I forgot what it was on. It was talking about the VFWs. Veterans of foreign wars, right? Like they're basically saying, like nobody goes to this no more. Nobody shows up to this club. It's a club. And what happens in there, yeah, they have drinks and they have food and entertainment and stuff, but really the veterans get together, have a drink or whatever, and talk about how to reassimilate back in society. You can't expect somebody that was fighting Viet Cong, you know, or living, you know, chasing Viet Cong through tunnels and shit to explain to the next Gulf War soldier how to get back into society. A World War II veteran trying to, you know.
Or how to deal with post-war.
That's the point, to get back. I'm gonna go to a regular citizen that don't know nothing about war to try to figure out how to get back into society. That ain't gonna work.
Or dealing with that PTSD.
That's where I was just about to go. You gotta go to somebody that's actually been through it already. And that's what we're talking about with the elders. Somebody still.
I had a. Oh, you still reading
Slack. Yeah, kind of Slack. It's a little bit more. This is continuing 1 Kings 12. This is verse 9. And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which my father did put upon us lighter. 10. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but thou make it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So, yeah, and we're going 12. Continue, it says, so Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him. Right? And I'm gonna just jump down to the point, right? This is 15. It says, wherefore the king hearkened, 14, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform this saying, while the Lord Yahweh spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Now when you keep reading, it speaks about how basically I believe it was a tax collector. They end up going into Israel into the tents, and they end up stoning them and killing them, man. You know, because basically he didn't take the advice of the elders. And so it all went downhill after that.
Because that system is set up from the heavens, man.
Yep.
The system is set up from the heavens. If you break the natural order that the Heavenly Father set up, the whole course of nature is gonna fall out of course.
Right. Yep.
What's that scripture? Give honor to the hoary head.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when those elders gave that counsel and that advice, they was thinking of the long term.
Exactly.
Right.
As the peers, they was only thinking about the present.
Yeah.
And what do we see today? Instant gratification is in this generation.
Kind. Another spiritual note on that account as well is he just wanted to hear what he wanted.
Yeah.
You know, that's why he asked twice.
He wanted validation.
Exactly, he wanted validation on his thoughts.
Because he was thinking as a young man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I found it. Proverbs 16:31. The hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. And hoary.
What's that other one?
Thinking of the age, man. Gray hairs.
I gotta.
Looking up that word, hoary.
Yeah, hoary, extremely old, gray or white, with or as if with age. Yep. Just an elder man.
Yep. You got the other one?
Job 8:8 in the NLT, it says, just ask the previous generation, pay attention to the experience of our ancestors. For we were born but yesterday and know nothing. Our days on earth are as fleeting as a shadow, but those who came before us will teach you. They will teach you the wisdom of old.
You don't gotta get hit to know it hurt.
Right.
You know?
Vicarious learning.
Bro.
Learning from somebody else's mistakes and successes.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing in the Bible. This is already other people's labors and accounts that have been written down for our learning. These are written aforetime for our learning. So they're giving us how to live without having to get hit or go through it.
Hey, bro, what you say? This is how I do it. I don't advise you to do the same,
Bro.
but this is the outcome.
Yeah. So if you're going to do this, do it better than I did.
Okay.
Teach me that.
Yeah. And that's what's been missing. You know, as far as, you know, these people is concerned. Well, I'll say, you know, because you got some of the northern tribes, they still are family oriented. They still have their fathers. Their fathers, you know, sit them down and teach them things. You know what I mean? Another example, right? The fact that Esau, he kept coming back. It's like generations over and over, he kept coming back to get vengeance on Jacob. How would his descendants know about, you know, Jacob being an enemy if they didn't keep that tradition among themselves that the Israelites were their enemy?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when when we was under King David and we had all the nations under subjection. And it told you how King David and Joab, they were going to Edom and slaughter all the men in Edom. But they would leave the women and the children.
Yep.
We know for what purposes.
Sports.
But it talked about in 1 Kings 11 chapter how in the times of after Solomon, you had a man by the name of Eldad. No, not Eldad. Hadad. No. That was Amaziah.
Okay.
King Amaziah. But no, you had Hadad. He would have fled down into Egypt, right? Because King David pretty much had everything sold up. So he ran and hid among those Egyptians until the throne of David and Solomon passed. Right after that happened,